ABC Kinderteach presents Hello, Lighthouse, written by Sophie Blackall. On the highest rock of a tiny island at the edge of the world stands a lighthouse. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to sea, guiding, showing the way, the ships on their way. From dusk to dawn, throughout the night, the lighthouse beams, shines bright. Hello, 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 lighthouse. So the lighthouse is on that tiny island. The new keeper, the person who takes care of the lighthouse, arrives to replace the old, to carry on tending the light, or making sure the lighthouse light is working. He polishes the lens and refills the oil and trims the burned end of the wick. And the wick is that part of like a candle. The lighthouse actually burns a big candle, at least it did a long time ago, and the lighthouse keeper made sure that the lighthouse light worked so that ships wouldn't accidentally run into the rocky island by accident. Throughout the night he winds the clockwork, and it looks a bit like that keeps the lamp in motion. What happens is this thing goes around and around and around, so the light shines all around, and the clockwork is the thing that allows it to go and spin around and around and around. During the day he gives the round rooms a fresh coat of sea green paint. So the rooms are round because the lighthouse is this shape. He writes in the logbook, and the logbook is just something he writes down, information that happens to him, things that happen to him, like, oh, it was windy today, or we saw 3 ships go by. Those are the types of things he might write in the logbook. And threads his needle, and there he is threading his needle, and listens to the gathering wind, which means the wind is starting to blow stronger. The wind takes a deep breath and blows and blows. It doesn't really take a breath, but it just almost acts like it does. Hello, hello, hello. So it must be pretty windy out there in this little island. The keeper boils water and drinks his tea as he fishes for cod from the window. So he's fishing for a type of fish down here from the window of his house, which is kind of funny, isn't it? He sets the table and hums a tune. He goes, and wishes for someone to talk to. So he's all by himself, at least right now he is. Every few days he writes her a letter and throws it into the waves. So this must be who he's writing to. Maybe it's his girlfriend, maybe it's his mother, maybe it's his wife. And he throws it into the waves, not that it's going to get to her, but maybe he throws it into the waves because he wants to think that it will get to her, but I don't think it really does. He tends the light, which means he takes care of it, and writes in the logbook, which he must have to do every day, and waits for her reply, which I don't think he's going to get a reply from her because he just throws it in the ocean, and so it probably will never get to her. The sky grows dark and the waves rise and crash. Hello, hello, hello. So that looks pretty dangerous, doesn't it? It looks like a really bad storm. And you can see the light from the lighthouse up there, and he's standing up there. The keeper looks through his telescope And a telescope looks a bit like this. The tender arrives, and the tender is just usually a smaller boat that is sent from a larger boat, bringing oil and flour and pork and beans and his wife. So they have the ship way down there, and they have to haul her up to here so that she can come to the lighthouse. He shows her around the round rooms of their house. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and sets the table for two. So now he has his wife so he can have somebody to keep him company. And it looks like they're dancing too. The fog makes everything disappear. A bell must be rung to warn the ships. Clang, clang, clang. I think they have to ring the bell because it is so foggy out that the light would not work very well. So they make noise to try to help the ships not crash into the island. One thick, foggy night, disaster strikes. Something bad happens. A boat is wrecked on the rocks. Not a moment to lose. The keeper rows out. He pulls 3 sailors from the deep Black Sea. He tends the light and writes in the logbook and wraps the sailors in blankets. So they had an accident, so he went out in his little boat to rescue them. The sea turns into a carpet of ice. That just means that it became very icy out there. Everything was freezing. Hello, hello, hello. One dawn, the keeper begins to sneeze. By dusk, which means almost nighttime, he is terribly ill. His wife is everywhere all at once, running up and down spiral stairs. She tends the light and feeds him broth or soup and chips ice off the lantern room windows. She sits by his side and writes in the logbook the minute his fever breaks. So she has to both take care of him as well as take care of the lighthouse, because you have to take care of the lighthouse, otherwise ships may crash. The icebergs pass on their journey south. So an iceberg looks like this, and it's not just on top of the water, but it's also underneath the water. And a journey is just a trip. The whales pass by on their journey or trip north. Hello, hello, hello. Inside the lighthouse, the woman walks around and around the room. Her husband boils water and helps her breathe in and out. He tends the light and writes in the logbook. So now time has passed and she's going to have a baby. She's getting ready to have a baby. And even though she's getting ready to have a baby, he still has to take care of the light and write in the logbook, because if he didn't, ships might still crash into their island. And notes the birth of their child. So in his logbook, he does write in when their child was born, and there's the baby. The sky erupts in, or fills with, swirls of green. Hello, hello, hello. The green, I think, is something that's called the aurora borealis. When you live someplace very far north, like almost the North Pole, sometimes in the wintertime the sky does this. The tender arrives, bringing oil and flour and pork and beans and the mail, along with fresh books or new books and news from the land. There's an unexpected letter, a letter that they were not expecting, with the Coast Guard's seal. The Coast Guard is the people that guard our coast or our beaches. The keeper winds the clockwork and polishes the lens just as he's always done. He tends the light and writes in the logbook, but knows that it's not for long. I wonder why it's not for long. I wonder if it's something about the letter that he got from the Coast Guard. On the ship, this man is using flags. The flags are used to talk to each other without words, saying, all right, this is coming up, this is okay, and so that's how they talk to each other. Together they watch the horizon. The horizon is where the land or water meets the sky. So there's the horizon right there. The Coast Guard arrives with a brand new light and installs the machine to run it. No lamp to fill, no wick to trim. The keeper's work is done. So they brought in a new light that does not require anybody to have to watch it. So it runs by itself, so they don't need a lighthouse keeper. He climbs to the top of the spiral stairs and closes the logbook for good. They pack their belongings into the boat and wave farewell to the gulls. Right there. Beyond the breakers are right here. They all look up. Goodbye, lighthouse. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. Over the waves, across the bay, here's the bay, a light on the land beams back, and there's the light on the land, and I think this is where the keeper is now staying with his family, and you can actually see the light from the lighthouse there too, shining. Hello, 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 lighthouse. This is what a bay looks like. On the highest rock of a tiny island at the edge of the world, a long ways from anything else, stands a lighthouse. There it is. It is built to last forever, sending its light out to sea. The fog rolls in and the fog rolls out. The waves rise and crash. The wind blows and blows. Hello, hello. Hello?